Hi, I'm George Pearson, and in this Photoshop Elements Layers for Beginners video, we'll be making this nature graphic. Now if you like this video, make sure you click that like button and of course share with your friends. Just click on the share. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and to really learn how to use Photoshop Elements, look for my complete training, and you'll find links right down there in the description. Okay, let's get to it. We'll be making this simple nature graphic here, mostly as a way just to talk about working with layers. As you can see here, right hand side, lots of layers over here. Now if you don't see your layers panel on the right hand side, there's a button right there at the bottom that just says layers. Make sure that is shown. Okay, we'll start this from scratch. I'll just close this down and we'll start a brand new file and blank file. I have mine set for the default Photoshop Elements size, 6 wide, 4 high by 300, and we can just dock that. There we go. Now the first thing we're looking at here, this is the background layer. As it says background, it's a special kind of layer. The main thing to know about the background layer is that it is a locked layer, except that you can change the contents of the background by using graphics over here, which I've demonstrated in several of my other videos. We have no need for that right now. What we will be doing though is putting in a gradient in here. This would be our sky gradient. So over here, left hand side, here's our button, and click on that. You then see the tool options down below. Make sure that the left style here is clicked. This is your linear gradient, and then click on the gradient itself, and this brings up the gradient editor, and the one you want is that one right there. Just click on that. Leave all that alone, that's fine, and then choose OK. What this does is it puts in a gradient that kind of looks like chrome, kind of a sky thing, kind of a dirt thing. All we care about is the sky part of that, but to do this, you see the little cursor there? Take it just off the screen, just outside the image there. Hold the Shift key down and then pull straight down, clear to the bottom. And that puts that in. We'll be putting in mountains in behind here, so it's going to hide that bottom part. And that's our first layer. Now to add in a new layer, easiest way is right here, this button right there. Makes a brand new layer, and there it is, layer 1. Now for our layers, we'll be coloring these and putting in some mountains. So let's get this set up ahead of time. Bottom left hand corner here where it says color. This is your color picker. Click on the foreground box right there, and then this brings to the color picker foreground color. You see that? And down here where it says only web colors, check that checkbox. That gives us real easy to select sections in here. Okay, that's all set to go. Notice this checkerboard pattern over here in the layers panel right hand side. This just demonstrates or shows that this layer is transparent. Or if you see that checkerboard pattern, it means you can see through the layer at that point. Right now we're seeing through the whole layer, and we're seeing the layer underneath. Let's now put something on here, and for this we'll grab the standard lasso tool over here. It's your upper right hand corner down here in the tool options, and click on the first one here where it says new. That's that kind of rectangle right there. And on feathering, just have that set at 1 pixel. Now I'm going to start off the screen, come a little ways above that, about up to about here. It's about 1/3 of the way down on the overall picture. There's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, about 1/3 right here, and come just off the screen, just off your image. Click and then hold the mouse button down and then draw in. Now just kind of be a little wiggly here. No reason to be perfect or exact on this. We're just putting in a wiggly line. Now when you get outside here, you can kind of see that I'm actually drawing the line outside. It goes right along the edge of the image, take straight across the bottom, way outside here, and go way outside, left hand side, and let's go just past that, and that then selects this area here. So we now have a selection on this layer. Notice that light blue outline right there. That's not important in this training video, but we do use this in other videos. You can put in layer masks over here, and you can see which side of the layer you're on by looking at that light blue outline. It's also one more way to check where you're drawing. You're drawing inside of the light blue outline. We'll put a gradient in here now, so we'll set up our colors for that. Come down here to the color picker again and choose the first gray. It's our foreground color. Choose OK. Click the white square in behind. We're actually leaving this white, but let me just show you how this is done. Click that white there, and then upper left-hand corner here is white. So I'm actually choosing that color. I'm doing white on white. I just want to show you the routine. We'll be doing the same thing in the additional layers with just different colors. So we have our two colors selected. Now if we go back to the gradient tool and click on the gradient, the first option here is your foreground to background color. So choose that one and then choose OK. Now come just up here, just a little bit above where your selection is. See it right in there? Hold the Shift key down. This makes it an exactly vertical gradient, and pull straight down. What that does is it gives us that gray up here at the top and down to white at the bottom. Just kind of fills that in. You can now get rid of the selection, and that's up here. Select, deselect. That's our first bit of mountain. You see we're only seeing the sky part of that chrome back in there. Okay, do the same thing again. New layer. Comes in above this layer, see that, or above that layer. Let's go back to our colors. Now this time come down just one gray. That's our new foreground color. Choose OK. Click on the background. Come down one color. From the white down to the light gray, that's our new background color. We still have the gradient tool up here. We now need to put in our next mountain range. So back up here to the lasso. There's your lasso. See that? Come just outside, about halfway down your picture, right in here somewhere. And let's just do another mountain range. This is going to have a few more things going on in it if you want to. And then again outside, and then take a clear around, outside and right back up past where you started. Here's our second selection. Back to that gradient tool. Come just above your gradient. Hold the Shift key down, pull straight down. Here's our second gradient. Okay, let's just go ahead and deselect that. Now for our third mountain, we'll be doing something over here. I'm going to come in and do kind of a triangle right in here on this side. Once again, new layer. There we go. Back to our colors. Come down one gray for your foreground. Click on the background square. Come down one gray for your background. It's our new colors. Back up to our lasso tool and come in here just below where this mountain is right there, and just outside. Start here and then do just kind of a squiggly thing down this way, and just to get clear over to here somewhere. Off the page, then straight across and up, and again just past where you started. There's that selection. We already have our colors selected. Let's go back to the gradient tool right there. Again, come here above the top of that gradient. Any place over in here is fine. Hold the Shift key down, pull straight down just like before, and let go. And that puts a gradient inside of that selection. All right, let's just go ahead now and deselect that. Okay, one more mountain range over here, right-hand side. Same kind of thing, just a triangle on the right-hand side. We'll start off with a new layer right there. Let's go back and set our colors in. On the foreground, come down one gray right there. And then for the background, come down one gray. See the little circle right there? Just come down one gray from that. Here's our foreground background color. Let's go back up to the lasso tool and come over here, in here somewhere is good. And then start outside and then just begin drawing kind of a little squiggly line like that. And just come down here somewhere. And then straight across and straight up until you overlap that starting point. And there's our right side mountain range. Back to the gradient, come above that selection, pull straight down, and that fills that one in, and then deselect. So there we go. We have these 4 layers now above the background layer, and then 4 mountain range layers, and they're all stacked. You can see how the layers that are on top of the stack on the right hand side are in front of everything in here inside of the main window. So the Stacking over here is things in front down to things in back at the bottom. So that's your stacking order on the right hand side. Let's now put a person in here, and we'll grab that one from our graphics. Bottom right hand corner, click where it says graphics, and this takes us into the graphics section. Here's where you can change your background if you want to. Again, I do that a lot in some of my other videos. We want shapes, and that looks like this. I'm just going to scroll down so you can see all of these different shapes that you can use in here. There are a whole lot of these that are really good for real fast clip art. We'll scroll down until we find that guy who's hiking in here. And just a bit further on. So they're not really any specific order. I've seen a few people just kind of scattered around. There's the hiking guy. Just click on him and he will come in. As you can see there, he came in at the foreground color right down here. So let's just fix that. I'm going to undo that one. Come back to your colors. See that little icon right there, black and white little squares? Click on that. That says he's back to their defaults. And let's click on him again. This time he comes in as black, and that's perfect. And let's pull him down here. Now here's a special keyboard shortcut. Hold the Control key down and then tap the T key. And that opens up these control handles in here. Now grab this upper left-hand corner and let's pull that up until his head is just about at the height of the horizon in there. And choose OK. So that's where our person is going to be, and here's someplace. Now I don't like having things exactly aligned. See how his head right now is just kind of exactly lining up with the top of that? Or if I move him over here, his shoulder lines up exactly with the mountain and the head lines up with that mountain. I don't like those alignments. So try to place him so he's just a bit offset. So there's some space there. Nothing's really aligning exactly. That helps to keep him in the foreground and not add him into the background somehow or other. So right in here is pretty good. Let's now put in some trees. But first, let's go back to our layers. And you see that he came in here as a new kind of layer. This is a shape layer. And shapes are vector graphics that you can resize without damaging or getting fuzzy on your images. They resize perfectly at any size. So that's our shape layer right there. We'll now put in some trees in here. And I have a tree graphic which you can download from my support page for this video. You find a link for that in the description, and it's for downloads for this video. So go ahead and go there and you'll find this download. File, place, and it looks just like that. Big long name. It's from the web. I left it at the name they had it as. Choose place. It just comes in the middle of the page like that. Now this is too big. So grab our control handle, upper left hand corner is the one I normally go for. I'm going to pull him down pretty small and just stick that right back here someplace. Notice we can change it so to a wider or skinnier tree, taller or shorter. So you have lots of adjustment abilities in here. I'm going to put him just inside, right like that. Click on that green check mark and there's that tree. Now once you have one tree in here, and notice this little kind of a different icon in there. This is coming in as what's called a smart object, which means again that I can resize this any way I want to. So let's take this layer here, drag it up to the new layer button right there, and makes a copy of that layer. And I have two duplicates. So if I grab this and pull it over here, you can see I now have these two trees on here. Now because it's a smart layer, if I change the size here, Photoshop Elements is going to go back to the original image and refigure it and give me the best enlargement, the cleanest enlargement. So let's do our Control T keyboard shortcut again. There we go. And I'll make this one just a little bit bigger. And down a bit further, just right about here somewhere. Okay, let's do one more. Grab this top one, drag it up there, new layer button, makes a copy. Take this and let's pull him over here a little bit. Put him right about there, I think. Let's make one more. Grab the layer, pull it up here to the new layer button, makes a copy on top of the old one, and let's stick him down here. Just kind of fill in that bottom right hand corner. Okay, so there's some trees, and here's our basic person. Let's now put some text over here with a different kind of a layer. Let's switch to the type tool, and this is big T right down here. And I'm using the Arial Bold typeface. It comes with Windows, so you'll guarantee to have that one. My color is black, as you can see down here. I'm going to set my size here at just 48, and we'll adjust as needed. And normally I'll set this at left justified. And then you can see right here, there's my little type cursor. Just come over here someplace about in the middle of this big area. Click there, and let's just type in nature and choose OK. Now this comes in as a different kind of layer. You see it up here. This is a text layer, or a type layer, big T on it. So a different kind of layer. So we have text layers, smart object layers in here, shape layer right there. And these are just regular graphic layers here, and our basic background layer. So different kinds of layers. They all work basically the same. Now at this point you can change this lettering two different ways. Either double click in here to select it and then change your point size right down here. Let's just go to 36 point, makes it smaller. Or if you're on your move tool, there it is, upper left hand corner. On the move tool, just do the Control T and it brings up control handles again, and then you can grab the corner and actually resize it just by dragging. It's going to give you an odd size. It's not going to be an exact size down here. But for an image like this, we don't really care about it being an exact point size. What we care about is that it looks good. And I'll put it right about there, just kind of filling in that area. Now there are a couple problems here. It's a little bit kind of off on its own here. It can use a bit more excitement to it. And our man over here is disappearing into the trees. And it looks like he is a giant because he's blending in the trees. So we're going to first start off with the person. Let's go to that layer right here. Click on that layer. Notice how it's now highlighted like that. It's gone blue. This is the active layer. And we'll apply a style to this. Go up to the layer menu, come down to layer style and style settings. And we want to use stroke right there. Now on this one, on stroke, it says position outside. Now I found sometimes with Photoshop Elements, it will actually be inside even if it says outside. So I'll just go to inside and then back to outside again like that to make sure it's outside. In this instance, we actually want that inside. So make sure you're on inside. And then the black over here, this is the color of the stroke. Click on that and the color picker comes back up again. Let's just click on white and choose OK. And the size right here is this control. And just pull that in so we get a little bit of a thick outline, not too thick, about like that. 10. You can also type that in, 10 right down there. Nothing else matters for this video, so choose OK. Now notice how it looks kind of funky down here with that tree. What's happening is that the tree is on a layer above this person, so the trees are in front of the person and it just looks weird. We can fix that by actually taking this layer and just dragging it straight up to the top of our stack, or at least above these tree layers. So take your layer, click and drag. See a little dark line in there? That shows you where it's going to move to. And I simply moved the layer above the trees, so it's now in front of the trees, and now it's looking good. The hiker is in front of that tree, and that's perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and do an outline on our nature over here. Go up to the nature text layer right there. Just click on that. See, it's in blue. That's now the active layer. Do the exact same thing. Layer, layer style, style settings. Stroke. Again, set this to white. There we go. This time I want it outside. But if I'll show you this, notice how it actually is. Actually, look at that. It went outside. How about that? So you want to have it outside. And on this, as we change the size here, notice the spacing here between the letters and the space inside of the A, and between these letters here, and between those, and inside of this. I want to make the stroke large enough to fill those things in. So let's keep on going larger until they fill in, and I get a basically solid background that works around the lettering like that. So everything inside the letters is now solid white. And again, just using that style settings. You can use these style settings on all kinds of different layers. In this case, we're using them on two different types of layers, on our shape layer and on our type layer right there. And there we go. A nice little quick graphic in here and a lot of discussion about how the layers work in Photoshop Elements. Don't forget, if you liked the video, click that like button and of course share, and also subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to take a look at my complete training course, and again, links for that are right down there in the description. And also down in the description down there, you'll find the link where you can download the tree graphic. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. If you like this video, click on the like button below to let others know. You can click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. I'm frequently uploading new training videos. Don't forget to check out my website at howtogurus.com.